Hi, I'm Lazze and I'm teaching people on metal shaping, and we are back here with tips and tricks for you guys out there that do metal shaping or are interested to know how it's going to be done. So on this little video here we're going to make the templates for this fiberglass scoop. So if you have something like that, the question you have is probably, how do I start something like this? And that's a good question, and it was a good question for me for many years. How should I do something like this? Where do I start? Where do I weld it? Can I do it in one piece? Can I do it in two pieces? Or must do it in four pieces? How should I do it? So in this video I'm going to explain my technique, how to do the layout and make the templates so you can see the whole process. And then we're later probably going to come back with how to make it in aluminum. So the first thing I'm going to start with here is to explain how I can come up with the size of the sheet that I'm going to cut out. That is the most important thing. And I'm using this poster board from Office Max. It works really good. You know, it's not too thick and it's not thin. So it works good. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the paper over like this, and then I'm going to use those magnets that works for fiberglass. No, I'm just kidding. I'm using one on each side, and then I can hold the paper there. So I have a couple of them in the back. Ow! I don't think that works. So let me put. Those can be pretty funny. Once I have one on the other side, then they will stay. This is the earth magnets, and they are really, really, really strong. So I think I'm good. Maybe I can put one on there. The good thing is that they center themselves. When I have one on each side, they center themselves, so that's really good. So now I have 4 magnets there, and then I can flip this over to this side. And what I'm going to do, I think I can use a pretty sharp Sharpie. I think it will work. So I can hold this one there and hold the paper up like this. And do the same thing in the front. So this gives me the outline. And most of the fiberglass stuff, they are not the same from side to side. But I'm going to show you the trick how to get it same from side to side. So there you can see the line. So what I'm going to do, I take the paper off. So those can be pretty funny, those magnets. So now I'm going to do the bottom. Let's see, so I have enough material, enough paper there. Don't have your credit card too close to the magnets because they can clear your bank account. So I think I'm good there. So in this case, I need to hold it up like this and make sure that it's Here in the back is a little different, so I will show you what I'm going to do here in the back. So here it's I'm doing a little guessing here where the curve is going to be because I have too much paper. So what I'm going to do here, I think I'm going to cut this out, and then I can show you what I'm going to do in the back. Just take a regular scissor and cut this out. There we go. Then I put it upside down like this. Now you see here now we have too much paper. So this tells me where I need to shrink it with a deep shrinker to get rid of that material. But for now, I recommend to cut it in like this. About 2.5 inches. And I can show you the principle, how I'm looking at the panels when I make templates and stuff. So when I do this, you see that I can. The good thing when I move the magnets like this, the inside follow, so it works pretty good. But here you can see now that the paper overlap each other. So that tells me that this needs to be shrunk, and when I shrink this, it's going to go down like this, and I can get this shape that the back of the scoop have. So to do the layout with a poster board like this, you save hours of work, and you don't need to throw the piece away. You can so much easier find out what's going on the panel before you do it in metal. And if I know that before, that means that I can do it so much faster. If I don't know what's going on and I cut it out the rough piece and start shrinking on the sides or both sides, and it doesn't take the shape I want. But here it tells me that the sides shouldn't be shrunk at all, because this paper here may be just a little touch up here, but very little, and I will say almost nothing. But here in the corner you can see that it's really need to shrink a lot. So let's take a look at the top piece and see what that looks like. So I'm back here on the top piece, and I'm going to cut that out. And I recommend when you cut something like this, don't just follow the line. Make a nice smooth curve instead. That is more important than cutting exactly after the line. So this is what it looks like on this one. And I think that if you have something like that, then you really want it to be symmetrical. And you see that I cut a little rounder here than I did on this side. So let's turn this, bend it halfway. Sometimes I take the paper and bend it in the break too, to mark it. So you see here now that it's a little different from side to side. So here I probably adjust that with a scissor to make sure that it's exactly uniform. And then in the corner here, I can actually cut both to make them exactly the same. And I have a little overlap there in the back too, so I think I'm going to cut both. That's easier than trying to follow. So there, now I have both of them the same. And then I can fold it out, and then I know that it's exactly the same from side to side. So then you don't need to worry about if it's going to be symmetrical. If you do the same thing when you make this in aluminum or steel, when you make that, you do the same thing on both sides. If you're shrinking a little on one corner, you're shrinking the same on the other corner. That's how you can keep them each side symmetrical. I think I'm going to use a couple of magnets here. Just to hold it in place. And if it's a 1/16 of an inch smaller than the fiberglass when it's done, or 1/16 bigger, doesn't matter. So what I'm going to show you here now is that here in the front, it's probably no shrinking when I make it in aluminum or steel, because it's go pretty much straight out. So, and here you see on the sides here, it's an outer curve. And when I bend it here, you can see that the paper is wobbling. So put another magnets on here so I have the magnets symmetrical. So you see here, I can move both magnets there, and I'm moving the one on the back side too. So here, for example, I can cut in here, and when I do that, you can see that the paper fall down. So here I recommend that you're shrinking, when we make this, shrink it just a little bit all the way instead of one spot. But one spot, take the bubbles out, but you need to shrink little all the way because it's an outer curve. And when we're bending an outer curve, it's still too long. And you can still see that on the side there, here, that the paper wobbling there. So I probably can cut 2 more, and when I do that, it falls down. So then here in the front, it's actually more. So you can see here that here I need to shrink a little more because the outer curve there is much sharper. So I need to shrink more. So now you can see that the paper overlapped there and we got the shape we want. And that tells me how far in I need to shrink it. If you still have bubbles on the top here, which I have just a little bit, that tells me that I could go in a little further in with the shrinking. And when I do so, then I get rid of the bubble up here. So that's the way I'm working with the layout and stuff like that. So we have a few more things to show before we are done with this. It's good that you don't lose them because they get together, they stick together, so you don't lose them. So that's a good thing. We have one more thing, and that is that now when we have the top and the bottom, then we need to know where those templates goes, because when you're going to make this in steel or aluminum, I need to have some templates so I know so I can check those templates on the outside of this. Because the piece that we're going to make is not going to be big, one size bigger than this, it's going to be the same size as this. If I use this as a buck and then put my piece over here, it's going to be too big and it's really hard to see where it's touching, and I don't like that so much. I would like to have control over what I'm doing. So what I can do here, I put a tape in the center, and then I'm making a template like this. And if I look at this shape from this view, it looks like almost like the same shape here all the way down to the end here. So I don't think I need to make a template for all the way. So here we have made a template. We cut a strip 3/4 of an inch, and it's 18 gauge material, and we cut that strip straight in a shear, and then I bend it with a shrink and a stretcher. So this one fits on the outside of this. So this one I can use on my new panel that I'm making and put that over that new aluminum piece that I'm going to make. And the long one here, I need one of those. So see which one it is. Yeah, this is the one. And the same technique there. And I can mark this one, so this one is the front. Then I always know what that is. Then I can do the same thing on the bottom. Put that little crooked on. Here I can, it's enough. It's enough to have 3 of them. Actually, I think it will be enough to have just one of it, because what I'm actually looking for is from the center and out here, and I think this is almost the same all the way to the back. If I make a template that fits all the way out here, it can be a little tricky to get the right size of it. So I think it's enough to have just one side, and then I can work on that and work on that, because I'm going to fit this piece to the top piece anyway. So you probably need, for this project, you probably need 2 templates like this. One there, and then one for the bottom. So it will be three pieces. So I think that was the lesson for today, how to do the layouts and how to make the templates for that. And if you want more information, you can go to www.lazzemetalshaping.com. Thank you very much.